Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mk4 Supra 1UZ swap. Gonna try to film this one a bit different how I used to do some older videos, is where I film as I do stuff. Can't guarantee anything decent will come out of it, but worth a shot. So I was kind of doing absolutely nothing this evening and decided to come out into the garage for an hour or so. And the first thing I'm gonna do, well, actually I've done it, is I've put a heat shield on that I found, that I kept from Supra. Nothing exciting to show, it's just a heat shield between the exhaust and the prop shaft. Middle heat shield fits fine from the Supra. So if you ever need one and you can't find one for Supra, one from Supra fits fine. The actual thing I'm working on now is the exhaust, so let me show you what I'm doing with that. So what I'm doing with the exhaust, and what I should really be doing, is tidying up my garage. Really, I've got into a bit of a mess. So I've got the back box off and I've measured that I need to take off about, when I say take off, add approximately 4 centimeters. So the plan is I'm going to cut this straight with a flange like that, and then actually what I'm going to do next is make a gasket, because I don't have a gasket for this. So using the material I've used in the previous video, I will make a gasket. So I'm going to start off by cutting this flange basically. So another update, I've tidied the place up. So I've got more space either side of the car, in front of the car, under the bonnet. Put loads of tools that I don't need. I've put everything away. The wiring situation doesn't look that bad. Actually, there isn't anything going on here at the moment, so even that looks more complete. But I do need to troubleshoot a few things there. So on the exhaust side, what I've managed to do is, if I crawl under here, I've managed to turn the middle section, I guess. Obviously, because it's on V-band, I can turn it as I need, as I want to, basically. So it's a lot higher now. It's basically sort of within the chassis rails, so I'm a lot happier with that. Extended, you cannot really see, well, you can kind of see there's a cut there. Still need to weld it up. I've just tacked it in place just to see how it looks and make sure I've got the dimensions right this time round. And this is how the exhaust looks now. Just barely past the bumper, which I am happy with. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna weld it all up tomorrow. I have this stainless steel rod, so basically I need to bend it and make the brackets or hangers or whatever you want to call them for the back box. So I need to purchase 2 rubber mounts. Yeah, so I need to buy 2 rubber mounts. I don't care what size they are, as long as they're 2 same ones, so even that doesn't really matter, but it will make my life easier in the future if I need to replace them. So I need to get 2 rubber mounts, slide them onto the OEM hangers that are bolted to the body. Just move away so the light is not too bad. There we go. Yeah, so I need to put 2 rubber hangers on the body and then bend this stainless steel rod so it basically in the right place, and then tack and weld the new brackets to the back box. Take the back box off, weld the new joint that I made earlier, and that'll be exhaust system done. I'll just need to take it all off and put silicone, high temperature silicone on the gaskets that I made earlier, and I'm just thinking, I don't know where they are. Panic over, found them. They were just on top of the engine hoist. So they're not brilliant. The most difficult part I had was, well, this is quite horrible, just better look inside. The most difficult part I had was actually drilling the center holes. Yeah, I've got nothing to add to that. I'm not proud of these, but they will work for now until I can sort something out different, or maybe if they start blowing, I'll remake them and get a proper center hole thing so I can drill it out properly. But as I was looking for these, I realised that the silicone that I have is on the got up to 260 degrees, as you can see there. So alongside with the hangers that I'll have to get after work, I'll also need to get some silicone, and hopefully I can finish off the whole of the exhaust tomorrow after work. So for you, it's going to be a few seconds. For me, it's going to be another day. And it's been about 2 months since the actual first drive of the car that you've seen in the previous clip. And honestly, nothing much happened really. The only thing I've done is I've put the interior back together a little bit. So the seat that was just where I'm looking at now, that's in the car now, and a few bits are back in, which I'll show now. So the interior is kind of back together. The center console is in and stuff like that. The instrument cluster still needs to come out because I have recently received the GPS speed thing, because obviously the original gearbox is not in, so the speedometer won't work. But the seats are in, the door cards are on, loads of plastic trim because that was off before. So yeah, I've done a fair few bits like that. Drove car out of garage once more to do that. It's a lot nicer to drive with the seat in place. Made more mess in the garage, which I'm planning on tidying up next. I've got a bit more storage, so I'm gonna utilize that. Under the bonnet, nothing has changed apart from I removed the battery and put the cover back on. I can't even remember why I've done that. But obviously there must have been a reason for that. But as such, what's going to happen next is there's a lot of things I'm not happy with. So when I drove the car for the first time, I wasn't really excited. I didn't notice that much. But when I drove it out of the garage the second time, I noticed that the gear lever, especially going in reverse, vibrates a lot. So obviously there's something wrong with the prop shaft position. That's the only thing I can think of. Also, there's a bit of vibration going forwards, which, I mean, when you're driving car at 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour, it shouldn't be there. So there's obviously something really wrong. So I think the prop shaft is either misaligned or potentially it's too long. I think the latter might be a good explanation of the vibrations, especially with going forward and backward, being different vibration levels. So I'm gonna address that, but also the wiring loom. So the original wiring loom is there's just so many broken. I'm just trying to adjust the light. Sorry, guys. So there are so many broken plugs, obviously very fragile from all the heat, and I mean they are near enough 30 years old. I think the engine was 1994, so 29 years old. So yeah, the wiring loom I'm not happy with. There's so much wiring to finish inside of the car as well, and I mean my long-term plan was to go standalone ECU, turbo, and I've just got to a point where I'm thinking, well, if I want to do all those things, I'll have to redo anything that I finished now. So with engine room, for example, yes, I could fix the plugs, etc., etc. But then I'd have to rip it all out, start from scratch again. So it's kind of wasted time to do it once and then do it again. Exhaust, I'm not happy with exhaust. The section that I bought from the guy that did a turbo install on his car with the MK4 Supra. So the engine mounts he had, they were LS400, I believe, and he did mention the engine was too low, so he had to rise it a little bit. Whereas I'm using the Sora mount, and the engine is a bit higher, so the exhaust is actually hitting the fuel filter, so I need to redo that, and this prop shaft to redo, and wiring, and I'm basically got to a point where I've pretty much convinced myself to just make it a long-term build and go for the standalone now, basically. So I don't know when the next video is going to come out. I'm currently researching standalone ECUs. I'm most likely going to go for Link. I quite like that they have a strong support for 1UZ. It's quite a popular engine in New Zealand, Australia, that part of the world. So they even offer a base map for 1UZ, so you can go wrong with that. And there's obviously Kelvin and car tuning, something like that. Basically, he's a 1UZ person to go to. He does a lot of videos on YouTube for 1UZ Link ECU setting up and stuff like that. So from support point of view, it's everything that a novice like myself can wish for. So that's why I'm leaning towards Link. Obviously, few different options to choose from. I think I'm going to go for Monsoon. It seems to be like it has all the options that I need now and also future upgrades. And then there's a few things to learn about idle control, for example. So I'm just trying to figure out what I need and what I don't need, trying to make a list of parts that I need to order. So obviously it's not going to be a quick project. I mean, if I was a professional in this, I'd probably say, oh, yeah, it's like a week's work or whatever. But you know, I'm just trying to put a list of parts together at the minute, and then I'll need to order everything. And I would imagine with Christmas coming up in 2 months' time, I'll have some time off, and that's probably when I'm going to aim for to do the wiring loom basically. So up until then, there's not much I can really do apart from taking out the existing engine loom and maybe working on prop shaft. So basically, no solid plan for immediate future with this build. So thank you for everyone who watched up until now. Thank you for the comments that you've been leaving and subscribers, new subscribers. I had a fair few subscribers join with the Supra build, so I really appreciate you guys. And if you have any ideas, suggestions about, you know, different ECUs I might be going with, or if you want to suggest what turbo I might be using, And bear in mind that I'm not planning for anything stupid. Power wise, I'm happy with 450, 500 horsepower tops. I don't need anything else. So the engine is staying stock for now at least. Upgrading head gaskets and installing studs for the heads might be something further down the line. But at the moment, I'm not even planning on doing any of those things. So thanks again, and I will see you at some point in the future.